We are on stage, brother. It is time once again for K4Wins. I'm Tony Kurre. Been in radio for 40 years. Started the classic rock genre. Did some ESPN stuff for a while. And, of course, worked with Aldo Greco and Jay Barker. As a matter of fact, Aldo Greco is going to join us on our show, the starting lineup, which is on ABC 3340 here locally. You can also find it on our YouTube channel on the starting lineup. Aldo Greco, of course, part of what Super Bowl was that? The one with the Rams and the Titans.
It seems like forever.
Yeah, I know it was a long time ago. Anyway, we remember that game. The Titans came up about a foot and a half short or a yard and a half short, depending on who you ask. And of course, that would have probably tied the game, and I would have had a great shot to hit a game-winning Super Bowl kick because timeout and overtime rules were just a little different back in that day. But he's going to join us on the show this Saturday morning from 10:30, 11 o'clock. He is Kai Gregory. He's also been handicapping for 30 or 40 years. You and I did a show, 25 years ago. Something like that, man.
Power Sports Power
Yeah,
Hour.
we did, man. We were the thing there for a long time, and we've been working together pretty closely over the last 3 or 4 years as I've kind of gotten into some new endeavors, and you're certainly doing your SPS stuff and Southern Precision Staffing, and so we decided to churn up another one, and it's going really, really well. One of the reasons it's going well is because we know how to pick some games. Case Kiefer and Kip Kiefer, the father-son combo, who will join us again on Friday. Case, of course, there's the chief editor of the Las Vegas Sun, and Kip Kiefer, the executive director of the Birmingham Racecourse Casino. They're going to join us again on Fridays only. But tell people why our numbers are so good and what those numbers are, my man.
Well, yesterday we were 3-1, so $100 better. Won, 190 yesterday. Not too shabby. Last month we were 121 and 88. So if you throw juice and everything in there, $100 better. Still made 28.10 in the month of January. So and that's year to date also, obviously. And we're actually 126 and 89 now year to date because we are on February 3rd. There've been 2 days, 2-0 2 days ago, 3-1 yesterday. So if you're a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly subscriber with us, we've been around since doing this with this group since August of 24. We are 1,729 and 1,021 overall. That's everything. So $100 better since August of 24 would be up $60,590.
There you
If they
go.
had been with us every day and played just every one of our picks, and we're different from a lot of people. We don't tell you, hey, bet 37 units on this team minus 400%, stuff like that. We try to stay, whether it's money lines for football, basketball, baseball, hockey, we try to stay under 150 because that's kind of an unwritten rule with a lot of gamblers. You don't want to go over that minus 150. You don't want to, be risking 160 to win 100. Have we done it before? Absolutely. I mean, you and I both know, Tony, we've made stupid gambling mistakes where we bet somebody.
Yeah, you just don't want to have one of those 3-in-1 days and you lose money. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
That's why we don't want to do that. And I think that's a great purpose to bring up. I will get this info at TonyCurryRadio.net. I get a lot of people saying that they use a service like ours, and we're like anything I've ever been part of. I wouldn't be doing this if this is this 1-800 call. The free bets. If you don't win this weekend, we give you something free. That's a bunch of bullshit. Those are people that. They do it for a living and good for them.
I don't know if he locked up or if I locked up. Tony's offline. It's me by myself until he gets back on. There he is.
Exactly.
You got booted right there. I don't know what you said last.
Sorry, I was still rolling on this end. Anyway, we get on there and we'll let it rip. But the one thing that a lot of people are going to ask is okay, $100 better would be up 30 grand if I played every single play you guys have. Now, how do I get those plays? You go to K4Wins.com, K4Wins.com. Is there any way, and I don't know, I'm thinking outside the box here, because some people are going to sit there and say, well, how many times a day do you update your service? Because we have early games and late games in the NFL. We have early college basketball games, and then we have games that go at 6 o'clock. Do we redo the dropping? And I know you are part of that, but how does that work? Because if you're trying to play every single game, you're talking 7 or 8 plays a day. It's a little steep for some people, but if you want to win, you got to play them all. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, and we try not to. One of the great things that we've had with the four of us is, Case, for instance, will play, every single game. Maybe. We don't do that. If we've got 4 of us, if we don't agree on a game, if it's 3 against 1, we just don't place it. We don't put that out there, but we do. So let's just say, for instance, this Saturday, college basketball. We're in Central Standard Time, so we try to know that 11 o'clock games here. We try to have all of them posted by 10. We email people as when they sign up for our subscriptions, and we'll let them know, hey, we're going to post an hour before game times. But just like college football, you should check in the morning. Check again right before games. 10:45 just in case. We also can email and text people the plays if that's what they prefer.
Yeah,
but when you log in when you go to K4, it's going to ask you to create a login. You create a login, no matter what. You don't have to do that to subscribe. I mean, you have to do that to subscribe, but you don't have to do that just to go and grab the free plays up in the corner that are doing very well, that are also above 64% year to date and for the lifetime that we've been around. But we're going to update it college football before 11, before the 2:30 games, before the 5:30, 6 o'clock games. So we're always trying to update it at least 30 to 45 minutes before time, because we've all been there in the past. Now it's a lot easier now that you have online and all these different things you can go do, whether it be FanDuel or ESPN bets or MGM bets or all these different things that you can get on. Because you used to, Tony, I know back in the day when you had to call the man about 30 minutes before game time, we went
to Home Depot every Sunday at 11:15, Home Depot, and I'd say, I'm going to go in the mechanics area, blah, blah, and I'd be on the phone with my guy while my kids were in the other part of the store, and yeah, I remember how that used to go, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to, so we try to do it as many times as possible. So the goal is to have our plays for the day updated and put up by 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe 10:30 Central Standard Time. But it can get updated. We can add plays, especially when we get good closing line value. People always ask that. So, for instance, yesterday, the New Orleans Charlotte game, when the game opened at 6.5 for Charlotte, we didn't jump on it. We didn't play it. At 7.5, right before game time, about 30 minutes before, we posted New Orleans plus 7.5. Well, guess what? The game landed on 7.
There you go.
125 to 118. It landed right on 7. Had we posted that at 6.5, had our subscribers played that at 6.5, they lose.
Yeah.
So wait, post it 7.5, get the win. So when there's closing line values and we see stuff like that during the day, we update it and try to give our clients the best possible thing they can get.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. The other thing too is that a lot of people watch the show. The case Kiefer is a pro here. He is. This is what he does for a living. He's a writer first, but he gambles for a living. He makes a large supplemental income through his gambling out there in Las Vegas, and is very, very good at it. And he'll jump on numbers like by the time, for example, in the NFL, a line may come out Sunday night, and it may be Detroit minus 3.5. And then by the time we do the show on Tuesday, it may be a pick'em. And in case has already got the 3.5 because he can jump on it. A lot of us can't do that. A lot of us aren't in Las Vegas and can't go run down to the casino to our friendly book and put that down, and we can do it online. But I mean, so sometimes people are like, well, wait a minute. How did Case get minus 3.5 and I got the pick? Well, the line changes. The line does change, and we try to play that because every half, every point counts. It's important, just like you said in that NBA game. So sometimes it hits us, sometimes it bites you. It just depends on how often. But for the most part, for example, let's move into it. Super Bowl 60, man, has been tight. 3.5 it opened up. It's up to 4.5 and 45.5, and I think it's going to stick there. Tell me this. Give me an over-under on what time the line 4.5 will move one direction or the other. Give me the exact time this weekend.
Looking at what's moved so far, knowing that they're going to come late. Kickoff's 5:30? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
First time it moves, it's going to move before
3 o'clock Sunday.
So it's going to stay 4.5 till 3 o'clock Sunday. It's not going to. It's going to move.
You're getting a lot of play on both sides right now. Everybody and their uncle's on the under, but you're getting a ton of play broken out on both sides. The sharps, are not betting yet. For the most part, they're waiting. I think if you get 5.5, and you can get it to 6, then you go ahead and you go with New England if that's the way you like it. If you're betting on either team, in my opinion, at this point, you wait. If you didn't get a value or get the 5.5 already, now you got to wait and see what happens.
Because everyone's waiting for the 3.5 and the 5.5 or the 6, depending on what you look at. We talk about the 7, but I mean, you want to get that 6, and it's within a 1.5 either way. So I can certainly understand. I don't think it's going to get close enough. I mean, again, and let me ask you this, and we can. This is good because we've got some time. when do you buy? I always buy the half. And and I've heard people say you don't buy the half to push. Well, I do. Hell yeah, you do. I can tell you how many times I pushed because I bought the half. It saved me thousands of dollars over the year. I always buy the half. I'll never leave it at a 3.5. And so some people will buy the half regardless. And I don't think that's smart. Obviously, if it's 5.5, there's no reason to buy it to 5. It doesn't make any difference. If it's 37.5, do you buy it on a 37? Probably not, because the number's too big. But what about buying more than a half? You can buy up to 1.5 in most services. So if you got a 4.5 and you can get it down to a 3, do you take that shot?
Well,
And then what kind of juice you talking about too?
well, I mean, you're going to add 10% every half you buy at a minimum.
If not more, because and sometimes it'll go $1.35 or something if it's on a 3. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's really strange. You see a minus 1, minus 10, but your money line's minus 35 at that point. And you're like, well, wait a minute, because if you bought it down to pick them, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to get it at minus 30, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. But it does go that way from time to time. I agree with you. It's always been a rule that I've always heard my entire life: never buy for a push. Well, if you get, let's just say you have Seattle minus 3.5, and you buy them down to 3, and then win by 3, okay, you feel all right with that. You didn't lose. If you've got Seattle minus 3.5 and you didn't buy it down to 3, and you lose, and you could have bought it down, then you're just going to be kicking yourself, forever.
And
So
you're losing the bet and the juice. And I mean, you're not paying any juice if you push. Now I know I can't believe I'm saying this, but I used to play with a guy that pushes, you'd lose. I mean, this was like 25 years ago. And I'm like, you're full of shit. Did you ever play with anyone like that? There was guys back in the days that used to pushes went to the book. And I said that's ridiculous. And of course, that guy didn't stay open very long. But yeah, I mean, dude, for me, a push is I could get to put a line through it, and it didn't hurt me. It didn't kill me. It is what it is, and I let it go. But I mean that I actually kind of have a little smile on my face because when it's done, it's 50-50 and what those ties, they mean something. The long course of time, if you end up having 20 ties over the course of a year and you're $1,000 or $100 better, that's $2,000.
Yeah, that you did not lose.
Yeah,
and the juice, because that $2,000 is actually 2,200.
yeah.
So you can look at it like that. You save $2,200. And there's a lot of people. I mean, and I think in this case, this is just to that person's opinion. And I would say it just like I would tell a blackjack better. If you do it, and especially on key numbers, then do it all the time. If you hit 16 when you're at a casino, then hit it all the time. And I don't mean hit it against a 6.
Yeah.
I mean, if you hit it against 7, 8, 9, 10, ace, then hit it all the time. And if you don't hit it, don't ever hit it.
Yeah.
Because what number, if you're sitting at the blackjack table, Tony, what card do you always want to see up for the dealer?
Well, you want to see 6, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is the card that gives them the least opportunities to win, allegedly. And if you're sitting there, you don't want to see a 16 in your hand. So, and I go with that to say you don't want to see a minus 3.5, a minus 4 when you could get a minus 2.5.
So on a big game, say, and I know a lot of people are going to play the Super Bowl. And that's something else we don't do here. We're going to play the Super Bowl because we like the Super Bowl. If we don't like the Super Bowl, we're going to play it. And I know people are like, you got to have a play for the Super Bowl. No, you don't. I mean, we're here about making money. I'm sorry, we're not. I mean, if you're one of these people that has to play a game because it's big, then you're probably paying the guy every Tuesday morning. I mean, you got to play that. You got to play when you feel good about it. You don't play when you don't. But what would you say to somebody that's got a 4? Would you buy the whole point down to a 3 on a big game? And does it depend on, because when you're talking about 1,000 or 1,500 up, you're talking big time juice. Then you're talking about $300 or $400 in juice.
I wouldn't. And here's the deal: if I'm not comfortable enough with the 4, and I think I got to buy it at 3, then why am I betting the game?
Yeah.
But if I'm buying it to 3, then in my head I'm buying it to 3 for a push. And if I'm betting $1,000, why am I going to buy a point and get to where now I'm minus 130 instead of minus 10? So instead of risking 1,100 at that minus 4, I'm risking 1,300 at minus 3. Is the extra $200 worth it for the push? In my opinion, no. I would not do that. If I'm doing that, then I think, and I know it's a big game, but if you're doing that same thing on a college football Saturday when there's 60 games to pick from, then you move on to another game, correct?
Yeah.
That's not the one where you find the best value, so you move on. It is okay, and everybody out there listen to me. It is okay to not bet on the Super Bowl. It
Sure.
really is. I mean, do you really just want to bet and lose? Is that your goal, or do you want to bet and win? If you're betting to win, then find some props and enjoy the game on a rushing total where you can watch somebody and see if they're going to rush or do something like that, and bet smaller. Bet 6 props at $25 each instead of the game at $100, and see what you can do instead and win some money that way.
The other thing that drives me crazy, and it shouldn't, and I know it drives you crazy too, is people know we have this show, and so I get phone calls. Hey man, will you give me your plays? And I'm not one. I'm not one of these. I'm not one of these cryptic whoosy guys. You know, I'm afraid to give the plays out because I think it's going to come to bias and ass. I don't care. That's a bunch of hooey. But I'll sit there and I'll say okay, and I'll give them 3 plays, and then the day will come and we'll go 1 and 2, and then they've got to call me and tell me why I didn't play your plays. Well, then what the fuck did you ask me for? If you're going to ask me for something, if it's like someone asking me for a pair of concert tickets, they're not going to the show. I don't want to hear, if you're asking me for a favor and I do it for you, then don't tell me, oh, well, I went the opposite way against your ass and I won. Well, then you're not getting my free plays anymore. Then don't ask me. Sometimes people just, they know which way they're going, but they want to see where else other people are going. They're not going to change their mind. That's the other thing is you bet 30 grand if you played $100 a game. But if you're one of these guys that goes, well, they got 6 plays, but I don't like 5 of them, so I'm going to play my 4. Well, then you're going to be in 1 and 3, and we're going to be 5 and 1, and then you're going to go, well, I should have played their plays. That's the thing. If you're paying for service, play the plays, and don't think you're smarter than the service. If you're paying someone to cut your grass, don't go out there with tweezers. After all, it's nothing to do. Don't go out there with tweezers afterwards. Let them cut the grass and be done with it. You're paying the service. Let them do their job. Let them do a good job. We're doing the best of it. And be done with it. Make your money, be happy. Period. If it ends up beating your favorite team, sorry, you made some cash. I know some people that go against Alabama every week. That way, if Alabama wins, they're happy, and if Alabama loses, they make money.
Well, I mean, you got it like this, guys. You know, because let's be honest, there's probably not a lot of women listening to the show. Totally get that. A lot of women don't gamble. They
should, because we're hot. We're smoking hot. We got lots of money.
Well, you're hot just looking at you, you know. So,
yeah,
but I put it like this. So a few years ago, I bought my wife for her a house cleaning thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what did she do? She knew they were coming on a Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. Well, at damn 8 o'clock Tuesday morning, she's vacuuming and dusting. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. They're coming to clean the house in 2 hours. Well, I got to get it clean for them. No, you don't. No. That's their job. So if you are subscribing to somebody, paying somebody for picks, their job is to provide you with picks.
Yeah.
So sit back, bet it, and relax. And anybody that guarantees you they're going to hit 70% or even 65%
is full of shit.
Is lying.
No, don't go with it. Don't go with anyone that guarantees anything, because there is no guarantee in it. We're fortunate enough and blessed enough that we know what the hell we're doing. I think the fact that we have 4 of us going after each game, I think makes a huge difference, because I've come to the table with 6 plays and we don't play any of them because someone's got the other side, and that's fine. Sometimes I want to go 6-0, sometimes I want to go 1-6. Here's the most important thing to remember, and then we'll move on. Girls, girlfriends, wives don't care that you gamble. They care if you lose.
Absolutely.
Wives don't give a shit if you lose $3,000 this weekend and can't pay the mortgage, as long as you took home 6 last week. As long as you're winning money, they don't care. Trust me, they're very, very happy. They don't want to hear about when you don't have money for little Barbie's birthday party because you lost it on the Rams on Monday night. But if you're making money over the course of the season, every woman's a little happy with that. So we'll move on. We're going to get into some college hoops. You want to talk about college hoops? We'll get into it. We got March Madness. The bracketology is already out. Looks like there's 11 Big Ten teams, 10 SEC teams. So we'll be talking about that. Robert Kraft. The New England Patriots are 0 for 2, man. What's so funny about this, and Case actually brought this up on the show on Friday, because of the new ways, this is a Deion Sanders thing, because of the new ways they're voting now players in, they actually had Bill Belichick against Kraft. So it was either both of them were going to get in or no one was going to get in. And since Belichick didn't get in, Kraft didn't get in as well. He obviously is a Hall of Famer owner. He's big time. He will get into the Hall of Fame, but just wanted to mention that. Kind of a knock that Bill Belichick, the winningest coach in all time, and Bob Kraft, the winningest owner of all time, has played in 20% of every Super Bowl ever played is not going into the Hall of Fame on his first ballot. What are your thoughts?
Um, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I can see where the best, but I don't disagree with Dion's premise and all this because the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, was getting to where just people are making it. I mean, it's just like LeBron getting voted to the All Star game. There are people with better stats like Kawhi Leonard who are not going to the All Star game, but LeBron is, and is it an All Star game for 2025, 2026 season or celebrating his career? So
Probably a little bit of both. I mean,
yeah,
he's got 22 points a game. He's doing, and he sells tickets. If it's his last year, he needs. Hey, listen, I'm one of those guys. If it's his last year, he needs to be in the All Star game. He just does.
I don't. Who knows if it's his last year or not? His ego is so big. I think he needs to come, or he wants to be asked to come back at least.
Mm-hmm.
The only way that his son stays in the league is if he's on a team with him.
Yeah, and he wants $50 million a year.
Oh well.
We mentioned some of the things to think about. The last 5 Super Bowls, underdogs 5-0, 5-0 against the spread, 4-1. That bodes well for you New England fans out there catching 4.5. 5-0 are underdogs. The last 5 Super Bowls. The last 3 Super Bowls have gone over the total. You mentioned that seems to be a prime number for a lot of folks. It was at 46.5 down to the 45.5, 46 where you shop. Everyone's liking the under in that game.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if it drops any more, you got to play over. I mean, you're looking at 45.5, it gets down to 45, a 24-21 game. Generally speaking, even though these two teams play pretty good defense, like you said, the trends with it, I can see it going over. I just don't see a 24-7 game in this. I think there's going to be some points. I think Kenneth Walker III is probably going to get some good rushing yards. I think Drake May is going to have some plays that help and get. So I'm leaning over right now, which is completely against the public, which makes me even happier.
Sure.
So I still don't know the side. New England's schedule scares me, but at the same time, they're still winning. But these two teams, both of these teams are just doing enough to win. So when I have two teams that are just doing enough to win, I like to take the points and not give them.
Yeah, I'm with you. And we're going to have all of our prop bets and stuff on Friday at 10 o'clock here in the Digital Sports Network and on Tony Kurre Radio. I mentioned, and someone was like, yeah, I do that too. If you've got two teams, I always think which team's got a better chance of blowing out the other team. And if I can't figure out which side I want to take, so it's Alabama-Auburn, who's got a better shot at winning a blowout? And it would be Alabama in this case. So I would play Alabama minus the points or whatever. So in this particular case, I think Seattle's got the better shot at blowing out New England, not New England. I don't think New England's going to blow out Seattle. And so if I was going to play, I'd play Seattle. That being said, I've got the plus 4.5 because Legend wanted Seattle, and I just like to see him lose. The point spread rarely comes into play. We brought this up the other day, and someone's like, please read that stat again. It's crazy. Meaning the winning bet often comes down to just who wins the game. There have only been 7 instances in Super Bowl history where the team that won straight up failed to cover the spread. Out of 60 games, it'll be the 60th. 59 games, only 7 times a team won the game but not cover the spread. That's pretty amazing. That was in 76, 89, 96, 2004, 05, 9, and Super Bowl 56 4 years ago.
I'd be interested to hear what those spreads were, though, and if they're low or high.
Well,
because, those they changed. I mean, you've had plenty of blowouts in the Super Bowl, and you've had some good close games. But I'd be willing to bet probably some of those disasters by Atlanta and Seattle against New England were probably in those numbers as well.
Yeah, and I'm pulling it up right now, as a matter of fact, because that's very interesting. I'd love to know what those. Let's see here. This is.
There's nothing quite like dead air, is there?
No, there really isn't. There you go. Super Bowl history spread 76. So 1976, that was Super Bowl 10, correct?
Yeah.
So Super Bowl 10, the Steelers were Cowboys, Steelers -7. Then in 89, that would be 23. That was 49ers -7 against the Bengals. Bengals covered that game. I hate that game. '96, which is Super Bowl 30. That was the Cowboys minus 13.5 against the Steelers. I remember that game. Then 2004 would be what is that? Super Bowl 2004 would be
38,
what was 38?
I think.
38 was Buccaneers Raiders. Raiders minus 4. 2005 was Rams and Titans. Titans minus or Rams minus 7. That was I'm sorry, 34. 35 was Rams versus Giants. The Ravens minus 3 in that particular game. And then 2009 was the Pats against the Eagles, and the Pats minus 7. So all the point spreads were under a touchdown, with the exception of one. Pretty amazing stuff. By the way, do you remember how we did last year on our Super Bowl? Do you remember what we did on our Super Bowl last
I
year?
think with props and everything, I think we were 7-3 on the
I
game,
think we were,
including totals. And we
including
did not,
including the winner.
yeah, we didn't post a ton of props last year. I think this year we're probably going to have somewhere around 10 props total posted. I know some services that post 50. I just think that's stupid. I mean, with 300 props to pick 50 of them, that's just outlandish. Could we pick 50 and go 30 and 20? Sure. But does anybody really want to keep up with all those plays? The goal is to give you what we think is the best 10 and move on.
Yeah, I'm not even on a football board this year. Are you?
Well, I'm not yet, but my youngest son, his baseball team is having one that just got put out this morning, so I'm sure that I'll get some squares just to help support his travel team.
I always wanted to be on that Irish Deli board down there. Remember the Irish Deli board?
Uh,
$500 a square. Paid $50,000 until someone actually broke into the joint and stole the cash the night before,
yeah.
and shut the business down. By the way, if you're doing a $500 board, people know the money's in the store. Probably not a good idea.
Well, it's a genius idea to have it in the store.
No, well, you knew who was running that joint. You knew who was running that place.
Oh yeah.
They're all friends of ours. I don't know where they're at now, Hal and the guys, but yeah, they're still out there probably doing it. I think they're still alive.
Yeah.
Pardon me. We also mentioned Vrabel can become the first person ever in history to win multiple Super Bowls as a player and then win one as a coach, which is pretty amazing. We can go on and on and on through all the numbers. Of course, we'll continue to talk about this coming up on Friday. But so right now, you don't have a side. Right now, I'm just being honest with you, and you asked me, I don't have the GOAT to pick for me. But I am pulling for the Patriots only because I've got a $50 bet with Legend, and I do like the 4.5. I know you're mentioning that 4 number, but I do like that 4.5. Really doesn't make a difference if it goes to 5 or not. So if it moves, it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna change anything for anybody. It's a no number or 5.5. But I want to see a good Super Bowl, and I don't want to see a boring Super Bowl. I'm hoping a 24-21 or 27-24 kind of game, maybe with a late score to win the game, something like that. I'm hoping it's not a 13-10 or 17-13 kind of mud bath. And that's the other thing about playing unders is, it seems like whenever I play an under that's around 45 or under, it's 17-10 at halftime, and then I'm feeling like shit. But the first 10 minutes of the third quarter are always the most important 10 minutes of any game when you have an over. Because in the National Football League, and I can't tell you how many times I've done this, it's 14-14 and a half, 21-14 and a half, the over-under is 39 or whatever, and then the first 11 minutes of the second half, some team will go on an 11-minute drive and they miss the field goal. And it chops off the entire third period. All of a sudden, it's fourth quarter and you're at the same damn score. That has happened to me so many times. No one ever scores. I don't know what – I will go out and do a prop bet if you can do a prop bet. Any score within the first 5 minutes of the third quarter. Say no, because it never happens. You don't see it happen. That being said, you watch. It'll happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I probably won't even get to watch the game. Going to be at Universal for my daughter's cheer national championships, high school national championships.
Nice.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I probably won't even get to watch the game. I'll bet on it. Probably won't watch it. But it's the last NFL game of the year, so I don't feel like I'm missing anything for any handicapping that's coming.
There you go. You'll catch a little bit of it.
Hey, I'm more excited about the basketball games we got coming up. I mean, good grief. There's only 6 weeks left to March Madness.
I know. Let's get into it, man. I know you wanted to get into it last week, and you're my basketball guy, and I'm coming up. I'm really good when it comes down to conference finals, conference games, stuff like that. When we get down to conference play, and we're certainly in that. Yeah, there's only like 10 games left. I'm sitting here looking at ESPN's bracketology, and of course, they do a pretty good. Jill Lenardi, right up there with Jerry Palm, a guy that I know that you absolutely love and that you subscribe to. Right now, last four buys: Indiana, UCLA, New Mexico, Miami. Last teams to make the field overall: USC, Ohio State, San Diego State, Texas. First four out: Va Tech, California, Seton Hall, Santa Clara. The next four ranked 73rd through 76: Missouri, TCU, George Mason, VCU. By the way, all of these teams will make it in next year, because we're expanding the field, just to give you an idea. And the number of teams in each bracket: Big Ten with 11, SEC with 10, ACC with 8. They may suck in college football. They're pretty good in basketball. Big 12, 7, Big East 3. That's hard to believe. The Big East only has 3 teams in. That's amazing. I need to go back and look, but I can't remember the last time the Big East only got 3 teams in, period. My Xavier Musketeers said at 12-2, they're playing at UConn. They're out. But normally the Big East is good for at least 7 or 8 teams. At least 7 or 8 teams.
It's different now. I mean, your number ones are Arizona, Michigan, UConn, and Duke. Which, okay, I mean that's kind of blue bloods. But if you go in and just, we're in SEC country, so you think about it away from what you're talking about. So Texas A&M is leading the SEC, right?
Yep.
They're number one in the SEC, but they're a 7 seed. Who wants to see them as a 7 seed in that matchup? I just don't think anybody does. Florida's a 3 seed right now. I do think they're going to move up. I think Texas A&M may or may not, just depending on how Buckyball does over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. Vanderbilt right now is a 4 seed, and they're only 3-3 their last 6 games. So who knows? We're going to find out some more about them over the next week, as they have Oklahoma, at Auburn, and Texas A&M their next 3 games. Kentucky's a 7 seed. If Kentucky's healthy, then they're still missing a starter or 2 just about every game. But Kentucky as a 7 seed is scary
Dangerous
to a lot of people.
And we'll be looking at that 7-10 matchup big time. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tennessee's a 5 seed right now. Auburn's a 7, which does not scare me at all. I think they're one of the most overrated teams in America. Alabama's a 5 seed. Let's be honest, especially with the NBA player, Buddy Inko, whatever the hell his name is, on the team. They're as a 5 seed, but I think that's going to change. They got Texas.
Okay, yeah. You think it's going to change higher or lower?
I think they're going to move up. The way they've kind of been playing.
I saw them play against it. They at one point during the season, when they were number 1, but during the season, I think they were going to be like a 2 or 3 seed. Right now, I think a 5 is about where it needs to be. Whenever you bring in a Budiako, a guy who hasn't played for the season, and I realize he's fantastic, it changes the chemistry of the team. You've got 5 guys playing, all of a sudden you got 20% of your team changing. And I'm not saying that obviously if Andrew Tuchel wants to play with your basketball team, you're going to make a spot for the guy. I get that. I don't know if this Budiako guy is that good. But it does change the chemistry of the team, and it pisses some people off too, because the guy's coming in the middle of the season taking some points playing time. So I think that's something to think about. But continue. Yeah, Alabama 5 seed. It's interesting.
Well, and then you got Georgia as a 9 seed, which I actually think they may drop out. They started off gangbusters, but nobody realized they had like one of the weakest schedules in the country when they were on fire. And they have dropped off a little bit lately, playing at LSU. Then they got Florida, then at Oklahoma. Oklahoma is the number 16 team in the SEC, and you still don't want to go there and play them. They are a solid team, just like tonight. South Carolina is at Texas. Texas is a 13.5-point favorite. That would still scare me against this South Carolina team. The SEC, I think, is very solid, top to bottom. And still, if we just sat here at the beginning of the year, and we're 6 weeks away, we're February 3rd, would we really believe that the top 6 in the SEC would go Texas A&M, Florida, Vandy, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee? That's crazy to hear.
Yeah, Arkansas 6 seed, A&M a 7 seed, Florida a 3 seed, Tennessee a 5 seed, Alabama a 5 seed. That is in the East and the South. Auburn's a 7 seed. Kentucky's a 7 seed. Vanderbilt's a 4 seed, you mentioned.
And it's scary if Alabama continues to play defense. They have been playing much better defense since January started. which
Yeah.
shocks me because what I've always said is Nate Oates doesn't play defense, and they have been playing much better defense.
Yeah. By the way, you know who's got the 16 seed in San Diego in the West?
No,
Merrimack. I know you had some money on Merrimack a couple weeks ago. Actually, had a
I
play on
mean,
Merrimack. I was like, Merrimack, is that some type of fucking animal in Australia or something like that? You're like, no, dude, we got Merrimack and they won. Yeah, they the 16 seed.
well,
They
it's
were
just
they
like
were they
when
were, they were
Grand Valley beat Purdue, Wayne.
Hey, Grand Valley's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we've won games with New Jersey Institute of Technology. We've won games with Merrimack, Quinnipiac. I love the Ivy League. I love some of the smaller leagues that you can go and look at. I mean, like tonight, we were talking about line moves. Miami of Ohio, 22-0, ranked I think 23rd at 22-0. They go to Buffalo. The line opened at 5.5, down to 4.5. Okay, so we talk about closing line value. It may move back, but if you played it at 5.5 and you took Miami, you don't feel good about the fact that it's down to 4.5. But one of the greatest things about college basketball is home underdogs. People at home, to me,
I love Buffalo,
home
by the way.
field or home court advantage in basketball is more real to me than home field advantage in college football. In from number 1 in the country to number 336 in the country.
I would agree with you. Unfortunately, that's not true for the UAB Blazers this year. They're so much better. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. But it's probably because they got 12 players that never played together. By the way, I like Buffalo plus 4.5 tonight. You can put it down for me.
Well, I've seen it, and that's the way the public's betting. And Miami of Ohio recently, even though they won 22 games in a row, I think 5 of their last 6 games they did not cover, and they have trailed in 2 of their last 3 or 4 games in the last 5 minutes of the game, and still won. If I bet it, I'm betting Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at. Wow. This says that Miami is 14-0 against the spread in scoresandodds.com. Miami of Ohio says they're 14-0 against the spread, 10-4 over unders. Is that even possible? 14-0 against the spread.
I got a Tony Curry useless fact for you when you're talking about the
14-0 against the spread, and I'm going the other way. What am I doing?
Well, hey, but they gotta lose eventually, right? I mean, that's what everybody said about Indiana.
Not really. Yeah, I mean, not really. They don't have to. By the way, my Muskies are catching 17.5 against UConn tonight. Man, my Muskies are just bad.
They are. UConn's pretty strong at home, and they're pretty strong. Period. I think UConn's. I don't know. UConn's won 17 in a row. 21-1, won 17 in a row. So, but here's something for you. We talked about this last week. How many teams in the SEC? 16 teams. How many have a losing record overall?
2. 0. Okay, there you
go. The worst records are Oklahoma at 11-11, South Carolina 11-11, and Mississippi State 11-11. Everybody else in the SEC has a winning record overall.
That's pretty amazing. That being said, tonight I know you follow your Volunteers, 15-6 on the season, inside the top 25. Ole Miss taking on Ole Miss, giving up 11.5. Yes.
Ole Miss has really struggled on the road offensively. I really wanted to play the over in this game, sitting at 139.5, 139, just depending on where you get it. And I think Tennessee's team total over might be the way to go. But the way Ole Miss has been playing on the road scares me as far as what they've slowed down. I jump on this. I tend to love Tennessee anytime the total is under 140 to play the over because they have not been the defensive team that Rick Barnes has had in the past.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would lay 11.5, but if I did anything, I'm still looking at the total. If it drops much more, I'm going to have to take the over just because. But I think Ole Miss averages on the road like somewhere around 131, 132. It's just going to be if Tennessee continues to score if they have their 4 and 5 minute droughts like they usually have.
I love playing college basketball games in the 130s for sure, and it's right there on the cusp. USC, I'm going to pick a couple games tonight that I'm really interested in. I want you to tell me what you think. USC catching 1.5 at home against Indiana.
I think Indiana's been playing better. This game jumped out to me when I was looking at stuff earlier, but if that line's updated, then it's moved to 1.5 because USC was minus 1.5 this morning.
Yeah, it is 1.5 right now.
For USC.
USC is +1.5. It moved from -1.5 to +1.5. Yeah, it's moved three
That's a
points.
3 point move this morning on a game on Indiana going cross country to USC. USC has done very well scoring, and I hate to be with the public that much. 3 point line movement probably makes me stay away. I was on USC plus or getting 1.5. I don't know if I can lay basically 2 points with them.
Info TonyCurryRadio.net. Santo Curry, you know him?
Yeah,
he just emailed the show. He wants to know. Ask Kai if I can make a bet on Lipscomb Clemson women's softball this weekend. I got a friend. You know Coy Ogle, his two daughters. They play for Lipscomb.
Yeah.
He came up to me. He's like, "Hey, we're going to Lipscomb to see Clemson play Lipscomb next weekend. You want to go?" And I said, "Hell yeah! I think they're playing on the 20th. And then Clemson plays Florida State maybe that Saturday night." And I said, "Yeah, that'd be fun. We'll go watch some women's softball. So we're going to head to Clemson and watch that." But I don't think yet. Maybe if you get on Kalshi or something like that, maybe you can bet on Lipscomb softball. But well, you know what? You get close enough to one of the pitchers, I'm sure you can make some money somehow, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I mean, we have not posted many because a lot of people can't. If you do FanDuel and DraftKings and ESPN Bets and MGM, some of those, you can get women's college basketball lines. Women's college basketball, especially the top 10, when they're playing unranked teams, it's probably the absolute easiest thing to win on, and has been traditionally. Even in the NCAA tournament, you'll get a 1 seed versus 16 seed, and the line's 44.5. You take the minus 44.5, and they generally win by 60. It's just the way women's college basketball has gone, and it's funny because this year we actually saw the first week. We talked about it a little bit also. Is we saw a 60-point favorite in women's college basketball this year, and they covered. Ole Miss was 60.5. LSU was 60.5. Both teams covered this year.
That's insane. I've been a Virginia fan. They got themselves a natty a few years ago. They're 18-3 in the season. Always a good basketball. I like them because it's the only type of slow down basketball that I actually enjoy. I love high sky and so on. But I've won a ton of money on Virginia unders. They're playing Pittsburgh later on tonight. Giving up 13.5, but the over/under is 142.5. Overall, they're 7-11. So the propensity of those games going under are good for Virginia. With that, I mean, I've seen Virginia games in the past: 118, 119, 121s, 122s, depending on who they're playing. That 142 seems a little high for me. Virginia, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's not very good. They're 9-13. Your thoughts? And I lost you. I can't hear you. You may have hit your. I can't hear you, my man. You can hear me, but I can't hear you. All right, we got Duncan Dad back in the studio. Find out what's going on. But yeah, you just cut out. I cannot make sure that all of your make sure my cans are on and I can hear myself, so I'm good. And now you're freezing up a little bit. Gee, you'd think with just two of us, this thing would roll pretty good. I can't hear you. All right, well, we can go off. Duncan Dad, if you're there, we can go off and then we can come back on again because we still got a good 15, 16 minutes. Talk to me. No, I can't. No, yeah, we're going to shut down and reset it. Okay, we're going to stay right here. All right, shut it down. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. Go.